Now let's get straight to the business of the day. Since November the 19th, 2021, when Babjide Omoworare, a senior special assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on National Assembly matters, confirmed that the lawmakers had transmitted the amended Electoral Bill 2021 to Mr. President for his assent. The bill is yet to be signed into law. Many Nigerians and the organized civil society have expressed worry about the delay as the National Assembly warms up for another recess. According to the laws, if by December the 19th, Mr. President has not yet signed the bill, two-thirds majority of the lawmakers are empowered to veto the president in passing the bill into a law. The senator representing Cross River Central, Senator Sandy Onor, now joins us from Abuja to discuss issues surrounding the delay in the signing of the amended Electoral Bill. Senator Onor, thank you very much for joining us.
The pleasure is mine.
Well, thank you very much, Senator Onor. Well, in the course of the week, in another program, The Morning Show, we had cause to look at this subject and to express the same concern that many Nigerians had expressed, that, well, the National Assembly may be going on recess on December 15, which is just a few days away. Up to this moment, what we know is that the president had passed on the bill as presented to him to INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, for that body's input, and also to the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation for advice. Before then, members of the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party, the president's party, at a meeting presided over by the Vice President of Nigeria, expressed opinion about what has been proposed. But do you think Nigerians have a legitimate reason to be anxious? Or do you think that before the 15th, before the National Assembly goes on recess, that the president will take a decision one way or the other? What is the mood in the National Assembly?
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you very much. But before I get there, please do me the honor that you and I share. I am a graduate of Unica like you.
Great Malabite.
And you know how we hail ourselves.
Malabite!
So. Action.
Great Malabite. It's good to have you on the program.
Okay, Ruben, let me delve straight to the issues you have raised. Yeah, I think Nigerians deserve to be anxious because this is a country where many things have happened, the good, the bad, the ugly. And as it relates to the Electoral Act in particular, you will agree with me that Nigerians have not forgotten what happened last time when the act was presented before the president, and a combination of factors, many of which were arguably not nationalistic enough, played, and the act was not signed. So many Nigerians want to believe that it is possible that the red herring we are presently experiencing may be intentional. But I would not want to be part of that skepticism because a lot has been put into this act, and I saw a lot of seriousness. And more importantly, even the matter for which so much controversy got generated, the issue of electronic transmission of results, was addressed by the Senate, for which I give my colleagues so much commendation. So I do believe that there is something that is worth waiting for, and you know what that is. It has to do with the manner of nominations. Many people, many interest groups are not too comfortable with the direct primaries that were recommended. And the president, being the president of the country, is bound to take into consideration all these considerations, and asking for advice from INEC and from the Attorney General of the Federation is only normal. I believe that ultimately these gray areas would be addressed, and the bill or the bill will be signed into law. Yeah.
No, when you say that the bill will be signed into law, do you imagine or assume, or is there something you know that before the National Assembly goes on recess, that the president will revert to the National Assembly? Do you have any information in that regard?
I do not know what will happen before we go on recess. But the point I'm making is that I do not think it is tidy for Nigerians to periodize, as it were, the signing of the act. In other words, I do not think that whether the act is signed or not before we go on recess kills it. We will definitely resume in January, and whatever issues there are will be trashed, and I'm very sure that it will be signed into law.
Okay, yes, well, maybe you have that, expectation because there is still enough time. The problem in 2018 was that the presidency came up with this excuse that some of the recommendations could not be effectuated because there was a constraint of time. But this time around, with still up to a year before the election, maybe that will not happen. Even if the president makes certain recommendations or he asks for certain amendments. But I would like to have your views on two key issues in that proposed amendment bill. The first is the issue about direct primaries and indirect primaries. The second one is about the leveraging of technology, particularly with regard to electronic transmission of results.
Okay, yeah, I think those are the two cardinal issues as it relates to that bill. About direct or indirect primaries, there are all kinds of arguments for and against. Those who believe, for instance, that direct primaries are the best argue that our governors and certain interest groups are becoming so powerful that they can influence whoever it is that must be nominated in the party. And indirect primaries make it too easy for these governors to manipulate the process. Those who argue, on the other hand, that direct primaries should not be accepted, they believe that when you go with direct primaries, you universalize violence. And monitoring of the process is not as good as when you do indirect primaries. And they also argue that the money will be too much. The logistical outlay from INEC would be too much. So there are pluses and minuses on both sides of the argument, depending on where you stand. If you ask me, I will say that both models, both paradigms, should be embedded into the Electoral Act, and let it be the responsibility of the parties to determine which best suits them. As INEC has said, nomination processes are fundamentally the responsibility of the parties, and I agree with them. On the issue of electronic transmission of results, I think that is so clear for everyone. We have moved into the digital age. Even countries less endowed, less developed than Nigeria are transmitting results digitally and electronically. Why not Nigeria? It will ease a lot of things. It will remove the tendencies of voting and manipulation and distortion of results. Electronic transmission of results is where we should be. And that is what Nigerians want. And that is what we have offered Nigerians. That's my position.
Okay, yes, I get your point, the point you were making about INEC. I thought what INEC said was that whether the political authorities choose direct primaries or indirect primaries, that INEC is ready to ensure that whatever mode that is chosen is put into place. Although I thought it was Festus Okoye, Dr. Festus Okoye, saying that, okay, if it's direct primaries, it may be a bit costly, but in any case, that INEC is ready. Now, we don't know in specific terms what INEC has already recommended to the president. But do you think, and well, I don't want you to take this as a partisan question, that President Buhari will be able to fulfill his objective of leaving behind a legacy of transparent elections, credible elections?
I think the first thing I have to say is that if you listen to Honorable Betera a couple of days ago when they invited INEC to speak with them, Betera had said that INEC said the responsibility for nomination is fundamentally within the purview of the political parties. And I think they are correct. And that is why I'm saying that if you ask me, I will say that both options, both models, both paradigms should be embedded in the act and let the responsibility for choosing which is best for any political party be that of the party. As to the question of whether Buhari would leave maybe an improved electoral system and whether he's in the mood to do so, many cynics will tell you no. But I will want to believe that it will be important that we cut the president some slack, that if you look at elections generally, APC has been losing in a couple of places. If you do what is right, you will win your elections. If you are in tandem with the people, you would win your elections. The INEC we have today is also an improved version of what it used to be, and we must give them that credit. The point I'm making, therefore, is that I do not think that President Buhari at this time would want to leave an electoral system that is worse than the one he met. If you ask me, I will think that President Buhari would like to leave an improved electoral system for Nigeria.
Okay, so if the president fails, for example, to send in his assent, or he tries to amend it, what are the other options available to the National Assembly? Beyond veto, perhaps, or perhaps veto is the only option, major option available to the Senate. What do you think is likely to happen?
If I know this assembly very well, I'll tell you that there will be a discussion. There will be healthy intercourse between the National Assembly and the presidency, and that a compromise will be reached. And at the end of the day, this act will be signed.
No. Okay, let me vary the question. I mean, this is a Senate that is led, or a National Assembly that is led by an APC man, Dr. Lawan, Senator Lawan, who had made it very clear that whatever the president wants is what this assembly would do. So are you saying that whatever the president wants is what will happen, regardless of what anybody thinks?
I don't think that it would be right for me to be as trite as that. Yes, there are moments when those of us in the opposition have not been happy with the way things have done and with the way the level of collaboration between us and the executive has been too obsequious. But let me make this point. It is not all the time that we have agreement with the presidency that demonstrates the fact that we are eroded by the presidency. The Constitution allows us collaboration and cooperation with the presidency. I do believe, just as it happened last time, that when the mood of the nation is gauged, the National Assembly rises to the occasion and acts in a way and manner that is in tandem with the larger wishes and aspirations of Nigerians. I believe that the country will not be shortchanged as far as this electoral act is concerned.
Okay, one major concern that has been expressed by the Independent National Electoral Commission is about internal democracy within the political parties. We seem to have found ourselves right now at a point whereby the two major political parties, we don't know whether there will be a third force that will meet tomorrow, or there will be realignments before the 2023 general elections. But what's your assessment in terms of internal democracy, the power of godfathers, and how these major political parties engage with the rest of us? Because INEC doesn't look so impressed, and I don't think that many Nigerians are impressed in terms of how these political parties are run.
Honestly, Ruben, if you ask me, I don't think we have reached there yet. There's light at the end of the tunnel, but we have not reached there yet. Both parties will need to do a lot to give Nigerians confidence that it is possible for the son of the poor to compete favorably, for instance, with the son of the rich. And that is why processes like the Electoral Act must do all to ensure that a level playing ground is deployed in ensuring that when we compete for nomination, nobody is unnecessarily harassed, you know. The point I'm making in direct answer to your question is that a lot still needs to be done. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, well, just before we bring this to a close, your party, the People's Democratic Party, is opposed heavily to whatever choice the Buhari administration may make. The PDP, I hope I'm correct in that regard, is supporting the idea of direct primaries, right? So is the PDP doing this just out of partisanship or out of basic conviction that that would be a more democratic option to take? Even within the APC, there's a vision.
I'm not aware that my party has taken a position on the matter as at today. Okay. I'm not aware of that, Ruben.
Okay, but what is your own position? What is your preference? Direct primaries or indirect primaries?
I have made the point. I believe that both models should be embedded into the Electoral Act and that the parties should determine upon debate which is the best suited for them. That's my take on the matter.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Senator Great Malabite, Sandy Onor, for joining us on this program today. Thank you very much. Well, you even stayed longer with the University of Calabar. Apart from your first degree, you ended up taking a PhD from the university. So you are the more authentic Malabite. Although I noted that you were in Malabo with me for about 2 years.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Good to have you on the program. Thank you very much.